Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi guys, my name is Yudhistira Budona, and my student ID number is 1902 010030, and I'm a student from University of 19 November Kolkata, and it's Department 2019. And today I have an assignment from my lecturer, Mr. Kamarudin SPD MPD, to bring the material about the actual education problem in Indonesia. And in this paper, or in this problem, or in this topic, we have 7 subtopics that we're gonna discuss. The first is the definition of the education. The second is the education system in Indonesia, and the third is the education problems in elementary level. The fourth is the education problem in junior high school level. The fifth, the education problem in senior high school level. The sixth is the education problem in the university level, and the last is the solution to education problems in Indonesia. But today I will just explain to you specifically about the educational problems in Indonesia, the educational problems in Indonesia in university level, and the solution to education problem in Indonesia. Let's begin the material. The educational problems in Indonesia at the university level. Education represents an important condition for the development of a country. However, the bad luck of education countries in Indonesia, for example, like curriculum issues, examinations, violence, and harassment in schools, and agreements to improve the implementation of tertiary education, which is currently updating changes, has led to a rise in the community. And next, I will explain to you some serious issues that related to higher education or in university level in various parts of the world, specifically in Indonesia. And the first is the level of university that are still unable to compete with the foreign universities. Like, education is never separated from all the countries, because the education is the main way to advance the lives of the next generation. According to Alba 1989, higher education becomes very important, because that is where the individual is forged into a professional in many fields. Various kinds of knowledge are produced and developed, and at the same time where various kind of national dynamics begin. Therefore, countries in the world pay special attention to continuously improve the quality of their higher education institutions. Not only that, but various efforts were also made to increase the competitiveness of higher education at each national level, but also at the international level. Goodman 1999 believed that these efforts are impossible to run optimally if not supported by a good system. In other words, the higher education system has an important role and a big influence on the institutions under its umbrella. In general, measurements of the quality of more higher education are carried out the level of the institution or higher education. Call it times higher education (EHA), and here's World University Rankings and Academic Ranking of the World University, or RU, becomes institution that annually rank world universities. The 100 best universities in the world are still dominated by the Western countries, like abroad like there, and such as the United States, Canada, England, Sweden, Belgium, Germany, Australia, and Netherlands, Denmark, Finland, Switzerland, and Indonesia. Many easy generations begin to lose in Indonesia. Many easy generations begin to lose their jobs because they could not compete in the workforce. Besides that, many foreign companies and foreign workers are more professional than the domestic workers itself. And the second problem is the campus expectations that are shackled, or the campus expectations are too high. The condition of higher education in Indonesia now tends to imprison the freedom of the students. Why? This is all due to the various obstacles in the university system and complicated campus bureaucracy. With the enactment of the single tuition system, or like what we call in Indonesia in bahasa SPP or UKT, restriction on lecture time, excessive assignment system, and others are proved to student bondage. In fact, higher education or in university level was established to create knowledgeable people, not to blackmail students with a predetermined system. Of course, to create quality humans as human beings. In a college, must use a good system as well. Today education system seems to imprison the student, win its students, so that it creates a quality students crisis. Yep. And the third problem that we had is the cost of education continues to increase. I mean, in every year, the education cost in Indonesia is getting increased. So, according to the one report, the increase in education cost continues even faster than the inflation rate. The government and educational institutions have paid attention to this issue by making various efforts such as scholarship program and assistance to the underprivileged. But not a few students who get assistance such as the BDMC scholarship, but they come from rich families, or families who could be considered to capable from rich students, while many students who are less able to study but do not get a scholarship because they didn't have the money, so that's why they really need the scholarship. And then the fourth problem that we have is study while working. Due to the high cost of education at the university level, so some students decide to work while they are studying to continue to pay their cost. Why this can be a problem? For students? Because when they are working, automatically their time to study is reduced, and students will not get enough rest because they do work at that time, and they have a very minimal time to take a rest. This can have an impact of the health for the students itself, and from the student itself, they cannot get a maximal grade in their test because they have to work and they didn't have time to learn or get to review their material to get home after they are at home. And the fifth is pain or depression. Many factors make students become depressed, such as the third factor about the lecture, which has so many deadline assignments, lecture that never, their college, their study is never finished, and when they become a final students who are writing their thesis, it is very frustrating for them. And the sixth problem that we have is one enter the department, being one of the problems at the university level, because it is very impactful for students, because usually students who follow the wrong choice of majors will think that he does not have the skills and expertise in that field. Indirectly, they will feel reluctant to enter the campus, doing assignments and being present in the class. And then the seventh problem that we have is the lack of qualified teaching staff. We know that education in Indonesia is very minimal in terms of facilities and infrastructure. One example is the number of professional teaching staff, which is very lacking. For example, the educational observer Dian Rosmala noted that three major universities in Malang have minimal quality teaching staff. For example, in For example, the Muhammadiyah University of Malang, which only has 102 doctors and professors from the number of lecturers 1969, and also the number of lecturers which totally from University of Malang, which is considered is still arguably not enough to face the total number of students in Malang, which based on the data in every year amounted to around about 34,000 people in every year. So that is a very minimum for them, and really it's very hard for them to handle all of the students that they have. And we begin to the next part is the solutions to the problems of education in Indonesia. To overcome the problems of education in Indonesia, such as the lack of physical facilities, the quality of teachers, and so on, in the outline are first, the government must be responsible for covering the education costs of its citizens, both public and private schools, so that many children from disadvantaged families can get the proper education. The second is the best management of education must pay attention to the professionalism and creativity of institutions in the administration of education. And the third is teachers should be more creative, innovative, skilled, and brave in taking initiative in developing varied teaching models. The teaching staff, such as teachers, lecturers, and etc., demand to be PICAM, stands for active, innovative, creative, effective, and enjoyable learning. Active means that in the learning process, the teacher must create an atmosphere such as the students actively ask and giving questions and expressing their ideas. Innovative learning can adapt from a fun learning model. And the fourth is in compiling the curriculum, it should take into account the various existing potentials, such as human resource or existing facilities and infrastructure. And the fifth is regarding to education, is not always related to activities at school or education at school, but education also happen or occurs at the home or to the family. Even education at home or to the family is the first education that occurs for every individual. And so the conclusion is the role of parents or family in education is neat, because the most time is certainly when in the family environment at school. Students only study for a few hours, so that's why we need a parental affection is needed, so the children do not do the things that banned at school, or they can fix their good thing. Okay, so I think that is my material today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.